Dear future wife, I've waited my whole life to say this, not because I always knew exactly who you were, not because I spent every year searching desperately for you, but because somewhere deep inside me, even during the years when life felt uncertain, there was always a quiet belief that one day there would be someone whose presence would make everything feel different. Someone who would make the idea of forever feel real instead of distant. And now that I'm finally speaking these words, I realize something important. The journey to this moment wasn't simple. It wasn't a straight path filled only with happiness and certainty. It was filled with experiences that shaped me into the person who is now ready to say these words honestly. For a long time, I didn't understand why life unfolded the way it did, why certain relationships ended, why certain moments brought disappointment instead of the future I once imagined. But now I see something clearly. Every step of that journey was preparing me for you. Just if I had met you earlier in my life, I might not have understood how special you truly are. When you're younger, you sometimes mistake excitement for love. You confuse intensity with compatibility. You believe that emotions alone are enough to build a lasting life with someone, but time teaches you something deeper. Love is not just emotion. It's patience. It's respect. It's the quiet decision to stay loyal to someone even when life becomes complicated. And those are the things I understand now. Those are the things that make me ready to say these words to you today. Dear future wife, there's something I want you to know before anything else. You were worth the wait. Every year that passed before we met now feels meaningful, because those years taught me how to recognize you when you finally appeared in my life. They taught me the difference between temporary attraction and genuine connection. They taught me the value of loyalty, honesty, and emotional maturity. Without those lessons, I might not have understood what makes you so extraordinary. One of the things I admire most about you is the way you approach life. You carry a quiet strength, not the kind that demands attention, the kind that reveals itself in your actions, in the way you care about people, in the way you remain kind even when life becomes difficult, in the way you believe in connection without expecting perfection. Those qualities are rare, and the more I get to know you, the more grateful I become that our paths eventually crossed. Because love, when it's real, changes the way you see everything. Before you came into my life, I had grown used to focusing on independence. I built a life where I relied on myself for stability and direction, and that independence made me stronger. But it also made life quieter in ways I didn't fully notice until you arrived. When you entered my life, something subtle changed. Ordinary moments began feeling more meaningful. Conversations lasted longer, laughter appeared more easily, and even silence felt comfortable when it was shared with you. That kind of connection is rare. It's not built through dramatic gestures or perfect circumstances. It grows slowly through understanding and trust, and every day I spend with you makes me appreciate how naturally that trust has grown between us. Dear future wife, there is something I want you to understand about the man you are choosing. I am not perfect. I have experienced moments in life that tested my patience and shaped my perspective. I have learned lessons through both joy and disappointment, but those experiences have taught me something important. They taught me the value of protecting the heart of the person you love, because love is not something that should ever be treated casually. When two people choose to build a life together, they are trusting each other with something incredibly precious: their future, their dreams, their emotional safety. And that is a responsibility I take seriously. I promise to approach our life together with honesty, not just when things are easy, but also when life presents challenges that require patience and understanding. I promise to respect your voice, your thoughts, your dreams. Marriage should never silence someone's individuality. Instead, it should create a partnership where both people feel encouraged to become the best versions of themselves. Your dreams will matter to me just as much as my own. Your happiness will never feel separate from my life. Because when two people truly love each other, their journeys become connected. Dear future wife, there is another promise I want to make to you. I promise that our home will always be a place of peace. The world outside can sometimes be chaotic. Work responsibilities, unexpected problems, and daily stress can affect anyone. But our home should feel different. It should feel safe. A place where you can relax without feeling judged. A place where conversations happen with kindness instead of frustration. A place where laughter is welcome and silence is comfortable. Because the feeling of home is not created by walls or furniture. It's created by the presence of someone who understands you, someone who stands beside you during both joyful and difficult moments. And I promise to be that presence in your life. Dear future wife, I also want you to know something simple but important. I will never stop choosing you. Love is not just a feeling that appears once and remains forever. It is a decision made repeatedly, every day, every week, every year. It's the decision to remain loyal when distractions appear. The decision to communicate when misunderstandings happen. The decision to protect the relationship instead of taking it for granted. Forever is not created by one moment. It is created by thousands of small choices that two people make together over time. And I promise to keep making that choice. Again and again. Because loving you will never feel like an obligation. It will feel like a privilege. Dear future wife, when the day finally comes that we stand beside each other and begin our life together, I want you to remember something. The man standing next to you is someone who waited patiently for the right person, someone who learned through experience how valuable true connection really is, and someone who understands that the most meaningful part of life is not success or achievement. It is the person you share your journey with. And if that person turns out to be you, then I know something with complete certainty. Every step of my life before meeting you was simply leading me toward this moment. The moment where I can finally say the words I've waited my whole life to say. Dear future wife, I'm ready. Dear future wife, there is something I want you to understand about the man who is writing these words to you. For a long time, I didn't know if I would ever reach this point in my life. The point where I could look toward the future and imagine sharing it with someone, not just for a moment, but for a lifetime. Life has a way of shaping people slowly, through experiences, through mistakes, through moments that teach lessons we didn't know we needed. And every one of those experiences has quietly prepared me to be the man who is now writing to you. Before you came into my life, I spent many years learning what truly matters. At first, like many people, I believed success and independence were the most important goals. Work hard, build stability, prove to yourself that you can stand on your own. Those things are valuable, of course. They teach discipline and resilience. But over time, I realized something deeper. Life feels very different when it is shared with someone who truly understands you. Someone who listens not just to your words, but to your thoughts. Someone who notices the small details about you that the rest of the world might overlook. And when that person enters your life, the definition of happiness changes. It becomes less about individual achievements and more about the moments you build together. Dear future wife, you might not realize how much your presence has already changed the way I see the world. Before you, my life was organized and stable. But it was also quiet in ways I didn't fully notice. Days passed with routine. Conversations happened, but they rarely carried the depth that truly meaningful connections create. But when you appeared, something shifted. Suddenly, ordinary moments felt more alive. A simple conversation could last hours. Laughter appeared more easily. Even silence felt comfortable when it was shared with you. That kind of comfort is rare, because comfort like that means two people are not trying to impress each other anymore. They're simply being themselves. And when you find someone you can be completely yourself around, you begin to realize how special that connection really is. Dear future wife, there's something important I want to promise you. Not just about love, but about partnership. Marriage is not simply about two people loving each other. It is about two people supporting each other through every stage of life. There will be moments when life feels easy, moments where we celebrate successes together and feel proud of the life we are building. But there will also be moments when things are difficult, moments where stress, uncertainty, or unexpected problems appear. During those moments, I want you to know something with complete certainty. You will never face those challenges alone. I will stand beside you, not in front of you, not behind you, beside you, because partnership means carrying life's weight together. Sometimes you will be the stronger one, sometimes I will. But together, we will always find balance. Dear future wife, another thing I want you to understand is how deeply I respect the person you are. Love without respect cannot last. Respect means appreciating the qualities that make you unique, your ideas, your ambitions, your perspective on the world. Marriage should never take those things away from someone. Instead, it should create an environment where both people feel supported in growing into the best versions of themselves. Your dreams matter to me, not because they benefit our life together, but because they are part of who you are. And who you are is someone I admire deeply. If there are goals you want to achieve, I will support you. If there are moments when you feel uncertain about your path, I will remind you how capable you truly are. Because loving someone means believing in their potential, even when they temporarily doubt it themselves. Dear future wife, there is another promise I want to make to you. I promise to protect the peace in our home. The world outside can be stressful. Responsibilities will grow as our lives move forward. Work, obligations, and unexpected challenges will sometimes test our patience. But when we come home at the end of the day, I want that space to feel different. Our home should be a place where you feel safe, a place where you can relax without feeling judged, a place where conversations happen with kindness instead of frustration, a place where laughter lives as easily as silence. Because the feeling of home is not created by a building. It is created by the relationship between the people living inside it. And I promise to do everything I can to protect that feeling for both of us. Dear future wife, there is also something I want you to remember during every stage of our life together. Love is not something that should ever feel taken for granted. When two people spend many years together, it can become easy to forget how special their connection really is. Familiarity sometimes replaces appreciation. People become used to each other's presence. But I never want that to happen between us, no matter how many years pass. I want to remember the moment I realized how much you meant to me. The moment I understood that meeting you was not just another chapter of my life. It was the beginning of something meaningful, and I promise to show that appreciation through my actions, through the way I speak to you, through the time I choose to spend with you, even when life becomes busy, through the small gestures that remind you that your presence in my life is something I will never take for granted. Dear future wife, one of the most beautiful things about love is that it continues growing over time. The excitement people feel at the beginning of a relationship is only the starting point. What truly matters is what comes afterward, the deeper understanding, the quiet trust, the comfort of knowing that someone has chosen you again and again through every stage of life. That kind of love becomes stronger with every passing year, and that is the kind of love I want to build with you. A love that grows through patience, through communication, through loyalty. A love that remains steady even when life becomes complicated. Dear future wife, I don't know exactly what our future will look like. Life is unpredictable. There will be surprises we cannot imagine yet. But one thing I know with complete certainty is this. Whatever the future brings, I want to experience it with you. Because when the right person enters your life, the journey becomes more meaningful than the destination. And every day I spend with you reminds me how grateful I am that our paths crossed. I waited my whole life to say these words, not because I knew exactly who you were, but because I believed that one day there would be someone whose presence would make all the waiting worthwhile. And now that I found you, I understand something clearly. Every year that passed before we met was simply preparing me for this moment. The moment where I can look at you and say something with complete honesty. Dear future wife, I'm ready to build a life with you. There are many things I want to say to you, and sometimes I wonder if words will ever truly be enough. Some feelings groove so deeply inside a person that expressing them becomes difficult. Not because they are unclear, but because they carry so much meaning. But I want to try. Because you deserve to know what is in my heart. For most of my life, I believe that people grow into adulthood by learning independence. We learn how to handle problems on our own. We learn how to build stability, how to create a life that feels secure and organized. And those lessons matter to shape the person we become. But there is something life doesn't always teach us immediately. Independence makes a person strong, but connection gives life its meaning. Before you came into my life, I had already learned how to stand on my own. I know how to work hard, how to make decisions, how to move forward, even when things felt uncertain. But standing alone and walking beside someone are two very different experiences. When you appeared in my life, I didn't immediately realize how much that difference would matter. At first, it was just conversation. Simple moments, talking about life, about the world, about the things that make people laugh and the things that make them think. But slowly, those conversations began to mean more because something about you felt different. You listened. Not the way people sometimes pretend to listen while waiting for their turn to speak. You truly listened. You noticed the small details in what I said. You remembered things that most people would forget. And those small things created something powerful: understanding. Understanding is one of the most beautiful parts of a relationship. Because when someone understands you, you don't feel the need to hide parts of yourself. You don't feel pressure to act differently. You simply feel comfortable being who you are. And that comfort was something I hadn't experienced in a long time. Dear future wife, there is something I want you to know about the way I see you. You are not simply someone I love. You are someone I respect deeply. Respect is different from attraction. Attraction can appear quickly. It can fade just as quickly. But respect grows slowly as you learn about someone's character. The more I see the way you treat people, the more that respect grows. You carry kindness naturally, not because you expect something in return, but because it is simply part of who you are. You care about the feelings of others. You notice when someone is struggling. You try to bring light into moments that might otherwise feel heavy. Those qualities are rare, and they're part of the reason I feel so grateful that you came into my life. Dear future wife, I want to talk to you about the future. Not the kind of future people imagine with grand plans and perfect expectations. The real future. The one filled with ordinary days. Because most of life is made up of ordinary days. Waking up in the morning, sharing coffee or quiet conversation, talking about what the day might bring. Returning home after work and asking each other how things went. Those moments might seem simple, but they are the foundation of a life shared together. And when I imagine those ordinary days with you, they feel meaningful. Because love doesn't only exist in special occasions. It exists in the daily rhythm of two people who choose each other again and again. Dear future wife, there will be moments in our life when things are easy. Moments when we feel proud of the life we're building together. But there will also be moments when things feel difficult. Life is a way of testing people in ways they never expected. During those times, I want you to remember something important. You will never have to face those moments alone. If something worries you, I will listen. If something hurts you, I will stand beside you. If something makes the future feel uncertain, we will face it together. Because that is what partnership means. Two people supporting each other through every stage of life. Sometimes you will be strong for me. Sometimes I will be strong for you. But together, we will always find balance. Dear future wife, there is something else I want to promise you. I promise to never stop appreciating you. Over time, many relationships fall into routine. People become used to each other's presence. They forget how special it is to have someone who truly understands them. But I never want that to happen between us. No matter how many years pass, I want to remember how meaningful it is to share life with someone like you. Someone who brings warmth into ordinary moments. Someone who makes laughter appear easily. Someone whose presence makes the world feel a little lighter. I promise to show that appreciation not only with words, but with actions. Through the way I speak to you. Through the time I choose to spend with you. Through the care I put into protecting the relationship we are building together. Dear future wife, there is one final thing I want to say tonight. I waited my whole life to say these words, not because I knew exactly who you were, but because I believe that somewhere in the world there would be someone whose heart matched mine in ways that could not be forced. Someone whose presence would make everything feel clear. And when I met you, that belief finally made sense. Because the connection we share doesn't feel temporary. It feels steady, real. The kind of connection that grows stronger with time instead of fading. And that is the kind of love I want to build with you. A love based on trust, on respect, on the quiet understanding that we are both committed to protecting what we have. Dear future wife, every experience of my life before meeting you was simply preparing me for this moment. The moment where I can look toward the future with confidence. Not because life will always be perfect, but because I know who will be standing beside me, you. And knowing that makes everything ahead feel more meaningful than I ever imagined. The strange thing about speaking to you like this is that sometimes it feels as if I'm writing to someone who already understands me completely, and other times it feels like I'm placing pieces of my heart into the unknown, trusting that one day they will reach you exactly the way they were meant to. But that's what faith and love often looks like. Not certainty. Trust. Trust that somewhere in the world there is a person whose presence will make the long road of life feel shared instead of solitary. For a long time, I didn't think about that idea very much. Life was busy. Responsibilities filled most of my time. Work demanded focus. Family needed attention, days turned into weeks, and weeks quietly turned into years. During that time, I learned many things about the world. I learned that people can be strong even when they feel uncertain. I learned that patience is sometimes the only way forward when answers don't arrive quickly. I learned that the things that truly matter in life rarely appear suddenly. They build slowly, almost invisibly, until one day you look around and realize how much has changed. And love is like that too. People often imagine love as something dramatic. They imagine intense moments, overwhelming feelings, sudden realizations. But real love often grows quietly. It begins in small conversations, in shared laughter, in moments when two people realize they feel safe speaking honestly with each other. Dear future wife, I want you to know that the life I imagine with you isn't built around perfection, it's built around honesty. Because honesty is what allows two people to truly understand each other. There will be days when I feel confident and strong, but there will also be days when I feel uncertain, when I question things, when I need reassurance that we are moving forward together. And I want you to know that you will always have the same freedom with me. You will never need to hide your fears. You will never need to pretend everything is fine when it isn't. You will always be able to speak openly about what is on your mind. Because a relationship only becomes strong when both people feel safe telling the truth. Dear future wife, one of the things I admire most about you is your ability to see the world with kindness. Not everyone carries that quality easily. Some people become hardened by difficult experiences. Some people protect themselves by keeping distance between their hearts and others. But you never allowed that to happen. Even when life challenged you, you kept your warmth. You kept your compassion. You kept the part of yourself that believes people deserve understanding rather than judgment. And that quality changes the way people around you feel. When someone speaks to you, they feel heard. When someone speaks to you, they feel supported. When someone feels uncertain, they feel encouraged. Those things matter more than you probably realize, because kindness has a quiet power. It can transform a difficult day into something manageable. It can remind someone that they are not alone. It can bring peace into situations that might otherwise feel overwhelming. Dear future wife, sometimes I wonder if you realize how much your presence influences the people around you. The way you speak, the way you listen, the way you bring calm into moments that might otherwise become stressful. Those qualities are not loud, they're not dramatic, but they're deeply meaningful, and they're part of what makes you the person I admire so much. Dear future wife, when I think about the future, I don't imagine a life where everything is always smooth or easy. Life doesn't work that way. There will be times when we disagree, times when we misunderstand each other, times when stress from outside situations finds its way into our home. But those moments don't scare me. Because what matters isn't whether difficulties appear. What matters is how two people choose to handle them. When problems appear, we will talk. When misunderstandings happen, we will clarify. When emotions run high, we will remember that we are partners, not opponents. Because the goal of a relationship isn't to avoid every challenge. The goal is to face those challenges together. Dear future wife, there's something I want to promise you about the way I will treat you. I promise that your voice will always matter. Your thoughts, your ideas, your feelings. They will always have space in our life together. I never want you to feel like your perspective is ignored or dismissed. Partnership means listening to each other fully. It means recognizing that both people bring wisdom into the relationship. It means making decisions together rather than alone. Because when two people truly respect each other, they grow stronger as a team. Dear future wife, I also want to promise something about the way I will value our time together. Life can become busy. Responsibilities can multiply quickly. People sometimes become so focused on work, tasks, and obligations that they forget to nurture the relationship that supports everything else. I never want that to happen to us. No matter how demanding life becomes, I want us to keep making time for each other. Simple time, walking together, sharing meals, talking about our days, laughing about small things that only we understand. Those simple moments are the threads that hold a relationship together. Dear future wife, there will also be moments when we dream together. Moments when we talk about where we want to go, what we want to build, what kind of life we want to create. Those dreams don't need to be extravagant. Sometimes the most meaningful dreams are simple. A peaceful home, a life filled with respect and support. A family that grows up knowing what love looks like. Those are the dreams that matter most to me. Dear future wife, I often think about the past that led both of us here, the experiences we had before meeting each other, the lessons we learned, the moments that shaped our character. Every part of that journey was necessary, because without those experiences, we wouldn't be the people we are today, and the people we are today are ready to build something lasting. Dear future wife, if there is one thing I hope you always feel when you are with me, it is peace, not the absence of excitement, but the presence of stability. The feeling that you can relax your mind, the feeling that you don't need to question where you stand, the feeling that our connection is built on trust rather than uncertainty. That kind of peace is rare. And when two people find it together, they protect it carefully. Dear future wife, the truth is, I never needed a perfect love story. I never needed dramatic moments or grand gestures. What I always wanted was something real, something built on mutual respect, something that grows stronger with time instead of fading, something that allows two people to become the best versions of themselves while standing side by side. And that is exactly what I believe we are creating together. A life that isn't defined by perfection, but by commitment, by patience, by the quiet understanding that we are both choosing this path every single day. Dear future wife, as I think about everything ahead of us, I feel a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude that our paths crossed. Gratitude that we recognize something meaningful in each other. Gratitude that we are building something that feels steady and real. And no matter what challenges appear in the future, I know one thing with certainty. We will face them together. And that is what makes this journey worth every step. Sometimes I think about the quiet ways life prepares two people for each other long before they ever meet. It isn't something obvious. There's no clear signal that says, everything you're experiencing right now is leading you towards someone important. Most of the time, it just feels like ordinary life unfolding. Work, responsibilities, mistakes, lessons, small victories, difficult seasons. But when I look back now, I can see how each of those moments shaped the person I became before you ever stepped into my world. Before you, I learned patience in ways I didn't expect. I learned that not everything arrives when we want it to. Some things take time because they need us to grow first. They need us to become someone capable of recognizing their value. If you had appeared in my life earlier, maybe I wouldn't have understood what you truly meant. Maybe I would have been too distracted, too uncertain, or too focused on things that seemed important, but weren't. But when you came into my life, something in me was finally ready to see you clearly. Dear future wife, there's a kind of quiet miracle in meeting someone who feels familiar even though they are new to your life. When we first started talking, I remember noticing that sense of ease between us. Conversations didn't feel forced. Silence didn't feel uncomfortable. There was a natural rhythm in the way we shared thoughts and listened to each other. That kind of rhythm doesn't appear often between people. It's something that grows when two hearts carry similar values, when two minds approach life with a similar kind of curiosity and care. The more I learned about you, the more I began to understand that your strength isn't loud. It isn't something you display to impress people. Your strength is quiet, steady, patient. It appears in the way you handle difficult situations with grace. It appears in the way you continue to care about others even when life becomes challenging. It appears in the way you protect your kindness without letting the world make you bitter. Those qualities are rare. They are the kind of qualities that shape a lifetime partnership, not just a temporary connection. Dear future wife, when I imagine our future together, I don't picture a life where every day is extraordinary. In truth, most days will probably be simple. We will wake up, talk about our plans for the day, go to work or handle responsibilities, return home, and share small pieces of our lives with each other. But those ordinary moments will carry meaning because we will be sharing them. The beauty of a relationship isn't only found in celebrations or milestones. It's found in the quiet routine of two people building a life side by side. I imagine evenings where we sit together after long days and talk about things that made us laugh or things that challenged us. I imagine weekends where we take walks, cook meals, or simply enjoy being in the same space without needing constant conversation. Those small moments create a kind of comfort that grows stronger over time. They remind two people that the relationship is a place of peace, not pressure. Dear future wife, I want you to know that my love for you will never be based on the idea of perfection. Neither of us will be perfect, and that's okay. Real relationships are built through understanding, not unrealistic expectations. There will be days when we misunderstand each other, days when we feel stressed, days when patience feels harder than usual. But what matters is how we respond during those moments. When difficulties appear, I want us to choose communication instead of silence. I want us to choose empathy instead of blame. I want us to remember that we are on the same side, even when emotions run high. That mindset changes everything. Instead of allowing small problems to grow into larger ones, we will solve them together. We will learn from them, and every challenge we overcome will make our bond stronger. Dear future wife, one of the promises I want to make to you is that I will always try to keep learning about you. People sometimes assume that once they know someone well, the process of discovery is finished. But that isn't true. Every person continues to grow and change throughout their life. New experiences shape the perspective. New dreams appear. New fears or hopes take form. I never want to stop paying attention to who you are becoming. I want to keep asking questions, listening carefully, and supporting the person you continue to grow into. Your goals will matter to me. Your passions will matter to me. Your happiness will matter to me. And I want you to feel that support every day. Dear future wife, I also think about the kind of home we will create together. A home is more than a place to live. It is an environment shaped by the attitudes and values of the people inside it. I want our home to feel safe and welcoming. A place where we can both relax and be ourselves. A place where laughter appears often and where difficult days can be softened by understanding and patience. If we have children one day, I want them to grow up seeing what love looks like in everyday actions, not only in words, but in behavior. I want them to see how two people respect each other, support each other, and face life's challenges together. That example will shape the way they understand relationships for the rest of their lives. Dear future wife, there's another thing I want you to know. I will never take your presence for granted. Relationships sometimes fade, not because love disappears, but because appreciation becomes silent. People forget to acknowledge the effort their partner makes every day. They forget to say, thank you for the small things that quietly keep a relationship strong. I don't want that to happen with us. I want to remain aware of how meaningful your presence is in my life. The way you brighten difficult days. The way your voice brings comfort when things feel uncertain. The way your perspective helps me see situations more clearly. Those things deserve recognition. Dear future wife, life will continue to move forward in ways we cannot fully predict. New opportunities will appear. Unexpected challenges will arise. Some moments will test our patience and resilience. But I feel confident about facing the future because I know who will be staying beside me, you. And knowing that changes the way I see everything ahead. Because when two people truly support each other, even difficult moments become manageable. They become opportunities for growth rather than sources of fear. They remind us that we are not facing life alone. Dear future wife, every journey eventually reaches a point where two people look at each other and realize that the path they're walking is no longer temporary. It has become something lasting, something that deserves commitment and care. I believe we have reached that point. The love I feel for you isn't based on a single moment or a single memory. It has grown through countless conversations, shared experiences, and quiet realizations. It continues to grow every day. And as we move forward together, I want you to remember one thing, above all else. No matter how the world changes around us, the choice I made to love you will remain steady. Not because it is easy, but because it is real. And real love is the kind that lasts. There is something I've been thinking about lately. Something that feels important enough to say even if the words come out imperfectly. When people talk about love, they often focus on the moment it begins, the excitement, the realization, the way two lives suddenly start moving toward each other. But the beginning is only one small part of the story. What matters far more is what happens after that moment, when love becomes part of daily life and two people start shaping a shared future together. Dear future wife, when I think about us, I don't just think about the day we met or the feelings that brought us together. I think about the life we are slowly creating. I think about the choices we will make, the decisions we will face, the small habits we will build that eventually turn into a rhythm that belongs only to us. Every relationship has its own rhythm. Some couples speak constantly, filling every moment with conversation. Others communicate quietly, understanding each other even in silence. Some express affection through words, while others show it through actions, through small gestures, thoughtful efforts, and everyday care. I've realized that what matters most isn't which style a couple follows, but whether they truly see each other. Seeing someone means noticing when they are tired, even if they say they're fine. It means recognizing when they need encouragement, when they need patience, when they simply need someone to sit beside them without trying to solve anything. Dear future wife, I want to become the kind of partner who truly sees you. I want to notice the small changes in your mood. I want to understand the things that bring you joy and the things that quietly weigh on your mind. I want to know when you need space and when you need closeness. Those details may seem small to others, but they are the threads that hold a relationship together. Because love isn't only about saying, I care about you. It's about showing that care in ways that make the other person feel understood. Dear future wife, sometimes I wonder about the experiences that shaped you before we met. The places you've been, the challenges you faced, the lessons you've learned along the way. Every person carries a story within them, a collection of memories that influence how they see the world. I want to learn your story slowly, with patience and curiosity. Not because I expect perfection, but because understanding someone's past helps you appreciate their present. The person you are today is the result of countless moments that came before moments of courage, moments of uncertainty, moments when you had to keep going, even when the path wasn't clear. And the fact that those experiences led you here, to this point where our lives intersect, feels meaningful. Dear future wife, there is something else I want you to know. I don't expect our lives together to follow a perfect script. Life rarely unfolds exactly the way we imagine. Plans change. Opportunities appear in unexpected places. Sometimes we have to adapt, adjust, and reconsider the direction we're moving in. But the uncertainty doesn't frighten me. In fact, it makes the journey more meaningful. Because no matter what path we take, the important part is that we take it together. Dear future wife, there will be days when we feel incredibly proud of what we're building. Days when we look around at the life we've created and realize how far we've come. Those moments will remind us why we chose each other. But there will also be quieter days when nothing extraordinary happens, when life simply continues in its steady rhythm. Those days matter just as much as the big milestones. They're the days when we strengthen our connection through consistency, sharing meals, talking about our thoughts, laughing about something small that happened during the day, sitting together in comfortable silence. Those simple experiences form the foundation of a strong relationship. Dear future wife, I promise that I will never stop trying to be a better partner for you. Growth is an important part of love. Two people who remain open to learning will continue to strengthen their relationship year after year. I want to listen when you share your perspective. I want to learn when you point out something I can improve. I want us to encourage each other to grow into better versions of ourselves. Because a relationship should never hold people back. It should inspire them. Dear future wife, I also want you to know that your happiness will always matter to me. Not just the big dreams or life goals, but the small things that bring joy into your everyday life. The hobbies you enjoy, the activities that help you relax, the interests that make you feel energized and inspired. I want to support those things. I want to celebrate your successes and encourage you during moments when things feel difficult. Your individuality is part of what makes you extraordinary, and I never want you to feel like you have to change who you are in order to be loved. Dear future wife, as we continue building our future together, there is something I hope we always remember. Love is not something that simply exists. It is something that must be nurtured. It grows stronger when people invest time, patience, and effort into it. It grows stronger when people communicate honestly and treat each other with respect. And most importantly, it grows stronger when both people choose each other every single day. Dear future wife, I choose you. Not only during happy moments, but during challenging ones. Not only when life feels exciting, but when it feels quiet and ordinary. I choose you when things are clear, and I choose you when things are uncertain, because love isn't just a feeling that appears in perfect circumstances. It is a commitment to stand beside someone through every season of life. Dear future wife, one day we may look back at this moment and realize how much our lives have changed since we first began this journey together. The experiences we share will shape our memories. The challenges we overcome will strengthen our connection. And through it all, one truth will remain. We found each other. Out of all the possible paths our lives could have taken, our stories eventually crossed. That meeting point changed everything. Dear future wife, as I finish writing these thoughts tonight, I feel a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the connection we share. Gratitude for the trust we are building. Gratitude for the future that lies ahead of us. Whatever comes next in our journey, I know we will face it together. And that knowledge makes every step forward feel meaningful. There's a quiet moment that sometimes happens late at night when the world becomes still. The noise of the day fades, responsibilities pause for a few hours, and your mind has space to wander through thoughts that usually stay buried under the rhythm of daily life. Those are the moments when I think about us the most. Not in a dramatic way, not in the way people describe love in movies, but in a calm, reflective way that feels steady and real. Dear future wife, during those quiet moments, I often find myself wondering what you might be doing at the exact same time. Maybe you're reading something that caught your attention earlier in the day. Maybe you're thinking about plans for tomorrow. Maybe you're simply resting after a long day, letting your mind slow down the way mine does. The strange thing about two people who are meant to share a future is that they often live entire lives before ever meeting. Separate routines, separate experiences, separate stories. For years, we move through the world completely unaware of each other's existence, and yet somehow those separate paths eventually cross. When I think about that, it feels almost unbelievable. Out of billions of people in the world, the chances of two individuals meeting at the right time, in the right circumstances, with the right readiness in their hearts are incredibly small. And yet it happens. It happened with us, dear future wife. Sometimes I imagine what our first years together will look like once we've built a home and a life that belongs to both of us. Not the perfect version that people post on social media, but the real one. The one filled with normal mornings, occasional frustrations, unexpected laughter, and the slow development of traditions that only make sense to us. Maybe we'll develop small routines that no one else notices. The way we say good morning before starting the day. The way we check in with each other after work. The way we solve disagreements by stepping back, thinking carefully, and returning to the conversation with calm instead of anger. Those habits may seem simple, but they are what keep a relationship healthy over time. Dear future wife, there is something important I want you to know about the way I see love. For me, love is not about possession. It is about partnership. You're not someone I want to control, and I would never want to limit your independence or your dreams. Instead, I want to support the person you are becoming. I want to see you succeed in the things that matter to you. I want to celebrate your victories and stand beside you when life becomes challenging. Because when two people truly love each other, they don't compete for attention or power. They build together. Dear future wife, I believe the strongest relationships are built on respect. Respect means listening even when you disagree. Respect means valuing the other person's perspective even when you see things differently. Respect means remembering that the person you chose deserves patience and kindness, especially during difficult moments. Without respect, love eventually fades. But when respect is present, love continues to grow deeper with time. Dear future wife, another thing I hope we always maintain in our relationship is curiosity. Not just curiosity about the world, but curiosity about each other. Even after years together, there will always be new things to learn about you. New thoughts you've developed. New dreams that have taken shape. New experiences that change the way you see the world. I never want to assume that I know everything about you. Instead, I want to keep discovering you. Because that sense of discovery keeps a relationship alive. Dear future wife, there will be moments in life when things feel uncertain. Situations where we don't immediately know the right decision to make. Opportunities that require courage. Challenges that test our patience and resilience. During those moments, I want us to remember something important. We are not facing those challenges alone. Two people thinking together can find solutions that one person alone might struggle to see. Two people supporting each other can overcome obstacles that might feel overwhelming individually. That is one of the greatest strengths of partnership. Dear future wife, I also want to promise you that I will never stop showing appreciation for the person you are. People sometimes assume that appreciation fades over time. They believe that once two people have been together long enough, expressions of gratitude become unnecessary. But I believe the opposite is true. The longer two people share their lives, the more reasons they have to appreciate each other. Every year together adds new memories, new examples of loyalty, new proof that the relationship is something worth protecting. Dear future wife, when I imagine the future, I don't imagine a life without challenges, but I do imagine a life where those challenges never destroy the connection between us. Instead, they strengthen it. Every obstacle we overcome will remind us that our relationship is resilient. Every difficult moment we navigate together will prove that we are stronger as a team than we are as individuals. And that realization will deepen the bond between us. Dear future wife, sometimes people ask what love truly means after the excitement of the beginning fades. The answer is simple, though not always easy. Love means staying. It means continuing to care, to listen, to support. Even when life becomes complicated, it means remembering why you chose each other in the first place. And it means choosing that same person again tomorrow. Dear future wife, I want our relationship to be a place of peace. Not a place where we compete or criticize each other constantly. Not a place where mistakes are remembered forever, but a place where forgiveness exists. A place where growth is encouraged. A place where both of us feel safe being exactly who we are. Dear future wife, as I finish these thoughts tonight, I realize something that makes me smile quietly. Somewhere out there, you're living your life just as I am living mine. You are moving through your days, making decisions, building experiences, learning lessons that will shape the person you continue to become. And every step you take is bringing you closer to the moment when our paths will meet again. That thought gives me a sense of calm, because it reminds me that the future we are building isn't something distant or imaginary. It is already unfolding, one day at a time, one decision at a time, one moment at a time. Dear future wife, when that future arrives and we look back at everything that led us here, I believe we will both feel the same quiet realization. Every experience we had before meeting each other was part of the journey that brought us together. And every day after that meeting will be part of the life we are creating together. That life won't be perfect, but it will be real. And that is what makes it meaningful.